What is going on, everybody? Landon here from Home Service Business Coach. And whether you're listening on podcast or on YouTube, I hope this finds you well, okay? And if you are listening on podcast, which I know the vast majority of you are, I am going to attach a document at the bottom of our YouTube video of this of your selling mindset, okay? And that's going to be the topic on what we're going to cover today, okay? So if you want that document on everything we talk about today, I'll leave it below that YouTube video. So again, just type in your selling mindset, home service business coach. You'll be able to find that, okay? But so good to be speaking with you today. And this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I'm a big proponent of how we think and thinking correctly, because how we think is how we view the world. And I want to make sure that I'm viewing the world in the most truthful, first and foremost, and correct way as humanly possible. And it all comes down to your mindset. And as I was putting this document together, I was like, in this training, if you will, I was thinking about how do I explain my selling mindset? What goes into that without it being 5 hours long and 100 pages deep? What goes into that? And I think to cover it all, because you've heard all the mindset, wake up early and plan your work your plan, and take extreme ownership. You've heard all these mindset things. You're riddled with this on social media. I wanted to talk to you about your beliefs about selling, because your mindset is kind of tier one, but below that, that informs your mindset is your beliefs that you have about life. And I don't mean this to be some groundbreaking thing, but I genuinely believe your beliefs about selling transfer directly into your mindset about selling, which directly transfers to not only your success personally, but more importantly, how many prospects you are able to impact. Okay. And this is kind of, if I could sum up my selling mindset in one thing, I genuinely believe this after closing millions of dollars worth of deals and talking with tens of thousands of people. Okay. And it is this thing right here. And if you take nothing away, okay, people don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong. That is it. Whether they're wronged by another person, aka you or the salesman, you sold them something they didn't need, or they're wrong in themselves. They made the decision only to find out they didn't actually want to, nor or it just didn't work like it was supposed to, okay? People don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong, okay? And this is something that I've really had to come to grips with, and it's taken me a long time to figure it out. And it's funny enough, my brother and I we're talking about selling. There's so many negative connotations around selling. Those 1970s car salesman, the sleazy snake oil guy too, right? It's still so ingrained in culture and in society now that even my own brother, after him seeing myself be in sales for multiple years now, and our dad growing up telling us to get into sales, but being good sons, we didn't really listen to his own advice. We've kind of both figured this out in our own journeys, but nevertheless, still super interesting that my own brother still has faulty views and beliefs about selling, which means he has a faulty mindset when it comes to selling, okay? And that was really fascinating to me. So, as much as I want to, again, I'm going to act like I'm speaking with my brother to you. So, it's going to be really real, really raw. There's going to be lots of love coming out. There's going to be a lot of passion, okay? So, if I offend, I'm sorry, but what I want to do is I don't really care about being nice. I really care about being kind, and in being kind in my eyes is telling you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. Which you listening, we already know we live in a world that is already to the latter, not the former. We only tell people what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. Okay, not going to digress there. You pick up what I'm putting down for those that know. Okay, so overall, people don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong. Okay. I'm going to cover 10 different steps for those listening on podcast and 10 different beliefs about selling. And then I want to touch on some sales ethics, because your beliefs inform your ethics and informs your mindset. Okay. So let's get into it. Enough of the chit chat. Few beliefs about selling. Number one, selling happens before you ask, closing begins after. What the heck do I mean by that? Selling is everything you do before the price. Closing is everything you do after the price. Okay. A lot of people are like, I'm a salesperson, right? No, I'm not going to go just talk to people all day long with no exchange. I want them to book, which means I view myself more as a master of communication, a closer rather than a salesperson. Big shift, number one. Number two, It's easier to handle obstacles than objections, okay? AKA before you ask rather than after you ask. AKA it's easier if they want to talk about their spouse, if we handle that before the price comes up rather than after, okay? Ideally, each prospect, in my personal opinion, is going to have 2 to 3 objections. You're going to have to work them through the overall 80%, okay? And it's easier to handle those things previously so that when we present the price, we're only going to discuss the affordability. We've already handled it. It's the best time to move forward. They don't need to talk to other competition. They don't need to think about it. They don't need to ask their spouse. You've given them, you've handled all that. Now it's just what makes the most financial sense for you to move forward today, right now. That is it, okay? Number 3, selling properly is the first step to becoming a coach. And what I mean by coach is an assisted buyer, okay? Your first impression and the expectations you set dictate the relationship. How you handle this first impression determines the relationship, okay? So for those that are noticing you're able to close, but you're not able to actually build relationship with your clientele base, if you change the expectation, you change your LTV, your lifetime value. Okay, the lifetime value you are giving to the prospect, in exchange, you're receiving from the prospect as well too. Okay, your first impression matters so much. And and this is for all these single guys too. I'll even say this: how your first 5 dates goes will dictate the rest of your relationship. And I am genuinely sold on that. I have learned that from experience as well too. How you handle the first initial interactions determines the relationship both personally and professionally. Okay, so make sure you were putting your best foot forward. You were looking sharp. You were under promising. You're over delivering. All these different types of things. Number 4, selling is helping prospects make a decision to help themselves. Okay, tying back to people don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong. Okay, selling is just helping somebody make a decision to help themselves, because that's all it is. Whether they want their window, it's going to help them. Whether they want their lawn cut, it's going to help them. Whatever it is, and this applies to any industry, okay? Not going to spend too much time on each one of these. We could be here for 5 hours, I swear, I tell you. Number 5, keep the prospect, not the sale, as the priority. It's not about you. The person who cares the most about the prospect ultimately wins, whether they care more about themselves than you or you care more about them than they do, okay? It's if you could take one away, and this is bolded for those listening, no other point is bolded, this one is bolded. If you could take nothing away from what I'm telling you, okay? People don't want to make a decision, remember that, but this would be the second most important, okay? Keep the prospect as the priority. If you make the sale, awesome. If you don't, awesome. It doesn't change you. As long as that person, as long as you can help them make an informed decision, whether yes or no, that's ultimately what matters, okay? It doesn't matter about you. Get over yourself, in a sense. You're not as important, nor are you as good at sales as you think you are, okay? It's not about friggin' you. Get over it. People are going to sense this, and this leads us into another one as well too. A belief: people are expert BS detectors, not dictators, detectors. They know when you're lying, especially now social media. And I'll kind of give you the track record. Late 90s, early 2000s, you could write an email, send it to a list, you could make 30, 40, $50,000 a month. People believe what they saw. That started to change. When the ad was built, when Facebook released ads, any advertisement that was on there, people would buy like crazy, like gangbusters, okay? I think it was released in 2011, the Facebook ads. Google obviously followed very soon. That's changed. If we go to 2020 or 2019, you had or maybe even earlier than that, 2016, 2017, you had a VSL, a video sales letter. You had a funnel, right? And that ClickFunnels, Russell Branson, you've heard of this guy before. Go through the funnel, they would buy. Quick little webinar, a video, they would buy. Now, good luck. So again, as we move forward, people are able to just sniff out BS more and more and more. Our prospects are extremely smart. They have Google. They're the most informed it is. And if you keep it the sale, your process, your business centered on the prospect, you'll never lose. The marketplace dictates. You don't. I forget who a Fortune 500. He was actually a Fortune 10 CEO, top 10 companies in America. He says, and he's got floors of guys. He's got floors of sales guys. He's got floors of product developers. Okay. He says it does not matter how great we think our idea is. It all comes down to what the marketplace thinks of our idea. Okay. Sometimes you think you have a great process, then you test it out. It sucks. Sometimes you're like, don't know if somebody will like this. And the prospect gives you positive feedback. The market decides, and how you get the market to decide is keeping them at the freaking priority. So hopefully I've driven that home. Sorry. Number 6, if someone objects, seek to understand, not to argue or be right. Keep staying curious, and you'll be able to handle multiple objections this way, okay? Big thing I saw with guys that I've trained in the past and with the clients we've worked with. If I object or I oppose to you, instantly you're on the defensive, which means you want to be right because as men, we are very prideful dudes, and our wives and spouses can attest to that. Or you're going to be argumentative. Well, actually, Mr. Prospect, you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and this is why I'm right. The amount of guys I've had that do that is insane. No, that's the last thing we want to do. We want to seek to understand. So, Mr. Prospect, when you say it's too expensive, where's that coming from? Is that coming from, you had a preconceived notion of the price? Is that because you've talked to 5 other competitors? Or is that you have a threshold with you and your wife that, hey, you don't spend X amount on this service? Like, where's that coming from? If you seek to understand, you will, again, not only just close more deals, but you'll build longer lasting relationships because you're just a human being at the end of the day. You're not this robot. Okay. Number 7, the best sales tool is belief. If a salesperson or you as the owner doesn't have belief, no tactic strategy will constantly work. No belief, no sales, no revenue growth. You're still stuck on the truck because you can't make enough sales, because you can't market effectively. All these kind of different things, okay? Conviction is the biggest thing. You as the owner are going to have the highest conviction out of everybody on your team. It's not really a matter, and we don't see this with the hundreds of guys we've helped. Belief, you guys believe in what you're doing. It's your business. The vast majority of you, 98%, believe what you're doing is helping people, okay? But how do we transfer that, right? The old adage of nobody's going to, again, work as hard as me because it's not my business. The old adage of nobody's going to care like I do. And you might be right. Nobody is going to care as much as the CEO. You are right in that. But how do you transfer that belief so that they're still 99% as convicted as you are? Maybe they're not 100, but they're 99. And I guarantee you can get to 100. Because again, your line of thinking is wrong. And I'll tell you why it's wrong. Because Walmart, because Amazon, because Tesla, because Costco, all these big time companies, if your line of reasoning is that nobody's going to care like I do, oh, we have a shitty industry of potential candidates to work from. If that was all true, there would be no home service company above $1 million. It just wouldn't work, right? Because they wouldn't care. So maybe it's not so much how much do you believe, but how much can you get your team to believe? Maybe you lack leadership skills. Maybe there is something you're missing. Maybe there is systems and stuff like that. We've helped with this all, right? But the best sales tool you can give to your techs, to your team, to your office person is belief and conviction in what you're doing. Number 7. Number 8, you can only build trust if you genuinely want to help, okay? And this is kind of iterating on point 5 because I'm going to rehammer it again to you. Humans are exceptionally good at sniffing out intention. So don't have commission prep. I just want to help. The thinking goes for those listening. I just want to help this person. Therefore, we're switching the frame. That's it. I just want to help this person. That is the interaction. That is your team's interaction. Those are the companies, and you know them in your area, that they have this mindset, they have this belief about how they do business and how they do everything is, I just want to help this person. Those are the ones that are the most successful. It's not this ripping off. And yes, that's going to happen, but you need to genuinely want to help these people. It's so important. I've said it number 5 and point number 8. So we're going to move on. Point number 9, the person who cares most about the prospect wins the deal. Are you seeing a theme here? I cannot iterate this point enough. I cannot iterate this belief enough in you. The person who cares more about the person, whether the prospect cares more about themselves or you care more about the prospect, will win. Whether that is saying yes to you or whether that's saying no to you. Okay, that is it. And that leads us to point number 10, the goal of closing. Okay, so really listen to this. This ties in everything what we've been talking about. The goal of closing is to get someone to decide, not to buy. Reward yourself or your salespeople, regardless of the outcome, if they can make someone decide. Okay, if you're talking with the prospect, okay, and think about how powerful this would be in your business. You have your waiting responses on your CRM. Maybe it's called something different, so on and so forth. You call, let's say, 100 of those waiting responses, and you get 100 answers. Let's say only 10% of them are yeses. How much better are you going to be able, or are you going to feel about yourself? And if you're having your office person or your salesperson or even a lead technician do that, whatever that is, if they were able to confidently say, I called 100, I got 10 yeses, I got 90 nos, but they all gave me nos. How much relief would you have as the owner? Because it's done. I can move on to the next task. Okay, Aaron, what stood out of why did those 10 people buy? And how can we again change so that maybe next time we get 15 instead of 10? And then time after that, 20. And then the time you can see that. So don't punish if they get an answer, whether yes or no. Reward. And in there, you're going to get more people to decide to buy. That's the key of that all, okay? Last three things. I'm going to give you some bonus. Sales ethics. Okay, this all ties into belief, and I hope that you're taking up, putting some value in this. Again, if you want the document, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So look up Your Selling Mindset on our YouTube page, and you'll be able to grab this document for yourself, as it is a lot of stuff we are going through. Okay, so there's three sales ethics. All of them tie one to another. So I'm going to just say them all at once, and then we'll kind of walk through them. Okay, number one. Helping someone make a decision to help themselves does not mean buying from you. It means keeping them and their goals at the center of the decision. You should be happy if someone makes a decision for themselves, independent of whether they choose to work with you or not. If you're genuinely happy that the prospect makes an empowered decision, whether moving forward with you or not, you win due to the fact they have no leverage over you. That is it. That is what I believe. That is why I wrote it down. That is what I believe at HSBC. That is what I tell all of our guys. That is what we as coaches tell all of our guys to do. And it is no different than you, regardless of your industry. Okay. You're helping someone make a decision does not mean buying from you. It means keeping them and their goals at the center of the decision. And you should be happy if someone makes a decision for themselves, independent of whether to choose to work with you or not. You can kind of see this is the most important point. You can kind of see now, we've touched on this now multiple times, and I'm going to sound like a broken record because at least this is how I learned. I'm an idiot. I need to hear something over and over and over, and then I need to go do the thing. Even if I know it's wrong, I need to go do the thing. That's how I learned. Maybe I'm a little bit idiot, but maybe you guys can relate to that too. That is why I'm going to just keep drilling this into your minds, okay? So if you take nothing away from this podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else, number one, and if you have a pen and paper, if you're on a job, stop, pull out your phone. There's no excuse for you not to write down these two things that'll literally change your business. Okay? Open up your phone, or if you have a pen and paper, write that down. Or if you're driving, use Siri to talk. Or if you're driving, pull over. Or if you're with your family, stop, take 30 seconds. Take these 2 points for notes. Number one, people don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong. And number two, keep the prospect, not the sale, as the priority. It is not about you. The person who cares most about the prospect ultimately wins. If you missed what I said, rewind that. If you don't have your hands available, okay, people don't want to make a decision because they don't want to be wrong. Keep the prospect, not the sale, as the priority. Okay, I hope this is you've written this down. This isn't about your tactics or how many objection handles you have, and all that stuff's really great. We dive into that in so much more depth with previous and then more to come podcasts and YouTube and all the training that we try and get you guys. But if you can get those two things, not only will your closing rate increase, our job size will increase, but you will build a business that people will build a relationship with for years to come, not just a quick transactional experience with you and your company and with those in your company. Okay. Landon with HSBC. If you want to get a hold of us, if you're like, man, I need help, my business is struggling, hit the link below. You're going to talk with me. You're going to get my personal number, the same number my girlfriend has and my mother has. Okay. We don't believe in this automation of text messaging and bots and stuff like that. Okay, you're gonna speak with me. If I text you, it's me. It's from my number. It is from my iPhone. Okay, it is from this guy right here. And for those listening, I just flashed my phone at y'all. Okay, we didn't even know if we can help you. We turn away probably 90% of the people I personally speak with. I don't know if I can help you. And I don't know if we even like each other. And that's a really good place to start because those people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And hopefully I've been able to build some trust with you. But if you want to find out if we like each other and if we can even help, there's only one way to do that. So don't be scared, don't be hesitant. Not going to hard close you. It's again keeping you at the forefront of it. The priority is you. The priority is not me. Okay, as a person, I care about you the most because I've seen this work hundreds of times. Okay, so if you've been hesitant, I can't afford you. Whatever these are all you got to check with your mindset. These are all limiting beliefs that you have. We need to remove those and insert proper beliefs. No different than selling, no different than building your business. So if you're ready to take that leap with those very, very, very few action takers, hit the link below. I hope to see you and actually speak with you and get to know you more on a personal level. So take care. We'll talk with you soon and hope this finds you well.